Okay, we're going to talk about the Arpeggiator on the Analogue Solutions Fusebox. The Arpeggiator is located way up here in the corner. It's very nondescript, hiding up there. And when you turn it on, it works like an arpeggiator would. It plays the notes you're holding down. Now, whereas some arpeggiators would play the notes in sequence, either going up or going down. If you played a chord like an E minor chord, it'd play E, G, B over and over and over again. This arpeggiator plays notes in the order that you play them. So you have the ability to do that sort of thing. Or you can play those notes in different order, resulting in something different. Okay, and so you could play up to 16 notes, and it will play those notes in the order that you entered them, which allows you a lot of flexibility in the notes that you can hold and how they sound when they play back. Let's skip over to mode. Mode over here does what mode typically does on arpeggiators. It plays the notes in one direction, or it plays the notes in the opposite direction, or it plays the notes in one direction and then the opposite direction. You'll notice I'm not using words like up or down because, again, these arpeggiated notes are played in the order that you have entered them. So it's not playing upwards or downwards. It's just playing in the sequence of notes you have entered. So let's do this. So when the mode button has no light, it's going, quote, up, which is it's going in the order that you entered them. And then when you press the mode and you get a solid light, it's playing them in the opposite direction that you entered them, the opposite order. Then, when you press the button one more time and you get a flashing button, you can tell what's happening. It plays the notes in the order you entered them, the opposite of the order that you entered them, and then the order that you entered them, etc. So that is very convenient. Okay, next we have the range button. Range button operates a little bit differently than you'd expect. Usually the range will be expanded by increasing octaves, but I'll show you what it does. When the range button is off, it'll just play the notes in a specific octave, just in the octave you've entered them. When you press the range button, you get a solid light, and it adds the notes being played an octave up to the octave they were originally playing. When you press it one more time, you get a flashing light, which adds a lower octave. So you get the octave you played, and then a higher octave and a lower octave. Okay, now I've been holding these notes this whole time, which has had me sort of contorting myself, but I'm going to be okay. The important thing to notice about this arpeggiator is that it does have a hold button, so I wouldn't have had to sit there and hold these notes down, but I wanted to talk about the hold button before I pressed it, because right now I'm going to press it. So, what happens if you have a 16-note arpeggiator that operates on the sequence you enter the notes in, and then we'll just hold those notes as you have entered them? So, like, for example, right now I'm going to enter a bunch of random notes, just pressing random notes, and watch what happens. So essentially what's happening here is I am entering a sequence of notes, and it is playing back the notes I am entering. So we have just moved from arpeggiator to sequencer. This is a 16-note sequencer. When you have the arpeggiator on and hold on, and you just start entering notes, it's going to play those notes back in the sequence that you entered them, thereby becoming a sequencer. So it's basically an arpeggiator / sequencer, in addition to all of the other great functionality. And you can treat it like a sequencer. I should also add to the fact that it remembers velocity. It remembers MIDI velocity. So as you are entering these notes, how hard you hit them makes a difference in how they are played back. So like when you're using the velocity function on the filter, you'll actually hear different notes having different velocities. But yeah, you can just play with these notes all you want. And of course, altering the pitch of the oscillators is going to make a difference. So you have a lot of freedom in doing different combinations of things and etc. It should be pointed out right now, if we look at this red switch, the sync switch, we are synced to the LFO. So changing the LFO speed is going to change our arpeggiation. Okay, so then you might ask, well, can I sync it to other things? And yes, you can. If you switch it to the center position, then it shuts off how this particular unit controls the arpeggiator, and you can actually put something in a clock input right there in that input jack that will then control the speed of the arpeggiator. And you could even theoretically take it out of like the MIDI clock. If you were getting a MIDI clock input to the system, you could run a cable out and have it controlled by whatever MIDI clock you're getting. Or you could use, your modular system to some output from your modular system to control the speed. The upper setting is MIDI note, which is using MIDI note 0 in order to control the synchronization. And yeah, that's not a thing I am set up to do, but my understanding is that it's very convenient. All right, so basically that is the arpeggiator.